Welcome to Ohio Varsity Insider. I am Steve Hare, and joining me today is Chagrin Falls basketball coach and superstar teacher, Brittany Anderson. Brittany, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me. The reason I brought you in is this is a special series we're running. It's on empowering women through sport. And this is something that we talked about a year ago. And obviously some things happened that kind of put a delay on that. But our plan at the time was to kind of put together a conference for high school female athletes to come in and learn about some of the different career paths that they could take to keep them involved in sport as they grow and become an adult and find a career. And like I said a moment ago, you're kind of the embodiment of that. You were a high school athlete, a college athlete. You went on into your teaching career and you're coaching basketball. So first off, why don't you kind of give us a little bit of a background on where you came from, a little bit about your high school career and then your college career.
Okay, so at Chagrin Falls High School, I played 3 sports. I played volleyball, basketball, and I did track. And I'm the third of 4 kids. My older sister, she played Division I basketball at Wake Forest University. My older brother played Division III college football at Denison. So having 2 role models and kind of seeing what they did after high school, both of them also being 3 sport athletes, I kind of was on the fence about what I wanted to do. Did I want to play Division I college basketball, or did I want to play Division III and pursue a major I was interested in and have a little more free time? I kind of messed up the free time part. I did end up playing Division III sports, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to keep playing a sport if I felt like I could help the program. So I also did 3 sports at Grove City College in Pennsylvania. I played volleyball and did basketball and track there as well, and graduated with 11 varsity letters. Wow. It wasn't easy. Because I had my sports schedule, I was involved in social activities, and I was a science major. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of passed on Division I, is because a lot of the programs that I was looking at said, we're not going to have any engineering majors. We're not going to have any science majors because lab schedules didn't fit in with their practice schedule. So that kind of, pinned me into a smaller school, but I don't regret it at all. So I graduated with my biology degree, and my sophomore year, I switched from pre-med to education. So I was taking about 18 credit hours to try to finish my science credits and also get my education credits in. And then my track coach and environmental science teacher in high school, he was leaving Chagrin, and it just kind of came together. I wasn't planning on, being back at my alma mater, but it's just something that worked out for me, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And now you're back at your alma mater, Chagrin Falls, teaching and coaching, and that's kind of the part I want to focus on since this is about empowering women through sport. How did you get into that coaching field? Was that something you always wanted to do, or just as you got to Chagrin Falls, they said, hey, we're looking for a coach and you're it?
It was funny because when I interviewed, I think one of the administrators got a little ahead of himself and was like, oh, we need an assistant athletic director. And I had all the sports experience, and I was like, that's not really the route I wanted to go. I feel like as a coach, you are a teacher. And I started right out of the gate coaching JV volleyball. My very first year of teaching, and then I was an assistant basketball coach. I'd spent all my summers coaching at Chagrin camps and coaching the team in summer leagues. I also helped out Trish Cruzy at Brush. So I had some coaching experience just because I wanted to stay involved in the game as much as possible. And then becoming a head coach, that became an opportunity a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. I was wrapping up getting my master's degree, and Curtis Howell was going to spend more time with his family, so that popped up, and I decided to apply for it. So I finished my 10th season this year as a head coach, and I think being a teacher and being a coach is a major advantage because you get to see the student athletes in the classroom, and you get to know them on a more personal level.
when you look at high school coaches in general, it's dominated by males, and for good reason. Women's sports, we've only been playing that for 30 and 40 years. So, and high school boys sports, you can go back to the early 1900s. So they had a big head start. But how important is it for more women to be involved in the coaching ranks?
It's crucial. You need to look to role models sometimes that look like you. And to have somebody's footsteps to follow in. I'm not necessarily saying everyone has to take the same path, but to know that someone's laid that foundation for you. I think it's really important to kind of have that person to look to. Females can have male role models, no doubt about it. I've been loving watching The Last Dance and, seeing Michael Jordan play as a kid, and now, watching this back, I think you can have male role models, but I think it's something a little different, something a little more special when you see someone that looks like you and has had similar experiences to you, and maybe can provide some guidance from those experiences that a male coach couldn't.
And in what ways can we enhance or entice, high school athletes, female athletes, to choose some of those career paths, whether it's a coach, an athletic director, a general manager, those types of things, because the numbers aren't great. When you look at the Chagrin Valley Conference, there's 22 schools, and I believe there are only 4 female athletic directors. Yes. The Western Reserve Conference is 0 for 8. And that's not to say that the athletic directors that are there aren't quality athletic directors, but it would be nice to see a little bit more balance with the women. And how can we entice girls to follow those paths?
I think to show them that it is something that's doable, that it's not something that is daunting, and that you can have a successful career and be able to have balance. By no means am I perfect. By no means can I do it all. But I think that showing that it's something that is manageable and it's going to be worth the battle and worth the struggle is something that's going to help girls to pursue being an athletic director or coach or teacher or a game official. It is not easy. There are 4 female coaches in the Chagrin Valley Conference overall. You mentioned the athletic directors, but we got an email chain going between the 4 of us at the end of the postseason meeting last year, just to kind of get some camaraderie and get something going between us. But I think one of the things that's tough is appearances or reputation. That's something that kind of makes it a little more difficult for a female to take on this task, because you are in the spotlight and you are thrown into different situations. And I think it's important to show that you're of strong character, because character, means so much more than reputation. I know that's a John Wooden quote, and I'm going to butcher that, but you can be strong and you can be vulnerable. You can be respected, you can set a tone, but you can still show that you're human. And I feel like a lot of times there's some hesitance with girls, there's some hesitance with female coaches to show that. And to, have emotion, and have that not be seen as, being irate or being unchecked or, being out of control. And I think that by being strong and by being tough and having those moments, not necessarily of weakness, but vulnerability and saying, yeah, I had a bad day. Yeah, I'm struggling with some family stuff right now. Yeah, I've got guy drama going on. I think having that there and setting that example for girls, I think will help them to get into this career path. I also would love to have more opportunities for conferences or seminars or camps or something to bring girls together and to have them create a network. I think networking is something that's also going to be really important to continue to keep women involved in athletics, and to know that they have that support system, that if you feel like you can't balance it out, if you feel like you're under pressure or under stress, that somebody else is going through it with you or someone else has already been through it, and then they're there to support you.
It's kind of funny, not funny in a funny way, but I over the weekend I looked back at a yearbook from 1985 at a local high school. They had 3 female coaches. Today that school has 2 female coaches. So in a span of almost 35 years, the number hasn't changed much, and it in fact went down a little bit. But at the same time, we have female coaches in the NFL, female coaches in Major League Baseball. There are female administrators in professional sports leagues. And I was just watching over the weekend a Women in Sports Tech Conference where, you now have powerful women in tech companies that are related to sports. So I think it's coming. It's just taking a lot longer than many people would like. And I hope that, seeing positive role models such as yourself kind of inspires girls to follow that path. And even now, as I interview some girls, when they make their college commitments, they're telling me they want to major in sports marketing or sports administration. And so I see more and more of that rather than, they just want to go into the stigmatized field of let's go to education or nursing. And those are great fields, not taking anything away from them. But at the same time, talking about, empowering women through sport. And it's nice to see that there are more girls interested in taking that career path.
Yeah, I think girls have a lot more options now. And I think a lot of people are daring to take that next step more so than usual. We just have to continue to support them in that. I think it's fantastic to see women breaking those barriers in the NFL and in Major League Baseball. But just continue to push ahead because their progress means nothing unless there's someone else to follow up behind.
Right. And when you look at some of the challenges that the girls face, 20 years ago, they were a little bit different than they are today. Those same challenges exist, but I've seen the transition to where it used to be the male coach, his wife would come by with the kids and watch the games. Well, now I'm seeing a little bit more of mom is coaching and dad's bringing the kids. So I'm seeing more and more of that where those barriers to, well, it's time to start a family, I have to step down from coaching. How much did that impact girls in the past? And do you see that changing as rapidly as I do?
I'm hoping that it's changing rapidly. I mean, I can't speak for myself. I don't have a family yet. Hopefully, that's a goal someday, but I'm seeing more and more of that with that balance. I think of one of my coaching role models at the high school is Pam Malone. Who's a Hall of Fame soccer coach at Chagrin. And before I got really tall and gangly and played volleyball, I played travel soccer. And Pam coached my travel soccer team. So she was coaching the high school girls and also coaching 4th and 5th grade travel team. And I remember when her first son, Quinn, was born, and she'd come out to our practice and she'd have Quinn in the baby pack. And she'd be out there running around with us, and Quinn's just bouncing around, happy as can be behind her. And she's coaching our team. And her and her husband, Terry, really made it work. They have 3 kids. They're all, adults now, and just fantastic family. And it took a lot of hard work and sacrifice on her part, but she was able to make that work. And I think that you can find that balance, and you can see more women doing that. If, I could predict the future, and if I could stay at Chagrin and coaching and, my parents still stay in the area, it'd be lovely to have that support network and to still be able to, have a family and have my kids, come to practice and everything. But we'll kind of see how that goes down. But from my perspective right now where I'm at, I would love to have, another female coach who, has kids and has family and has to, figure that balance out. And I want to support that and foster that because I think it's really important for my student athletes to see, someone who is doing that and is a successful career person and, has this beautiful family and is able to still support their student athletes.
Outstanding. Well, it is an uphill battle. I think we're getting, we're at least on the right path, and seeing strong women in those roles certainly helps. And, for you taking the time out today to discuss your position and your role and how you got into sports, I appreciate that. And hopefully we'll make those in-person conferences a reality sooner than later. Outstanding. Well, you stay well during the stay at home, and hopefully we'll get you back in the classroom and back on the court soon.
I hope so. I can't wait.
All right. Thanks,
Good
Brittany.
talking to
Take
you.
care.
All right, thanks.